all heard of pirates, but have you ever heard of a benevolent pirate? One that wants to help his community and give back to the people. We've all pictured pirates as being ruthless, cutthroat, dangerous, taking what they want, not giving anything back. Well, would you believe me if I told you of some benevolent pirates, especially in all places here in Morgan Hill, California? Sit back, relax, because I'm going to tell you the tale of the pirates of Morgans Cove. This is the Lady Morgan. She ran aground here several years ago in one of Morgan Hill's best kept secrets, and that is Morgans Cove. You might be asking yourself, what is Morgans Cove? It's a home of pirates who for the past 6 years have opened up their island to benefit the charitable organizations of the city of Morgan Hill. As we tour the oasis today, we're going to be asking ourselves the questions: who built it and why?
Well, I think that Morgans Cove was the best kept secret in Morgan Hill. And that once the word got out that we have a treasure in our own backyard, and that's Morgans Cove. And Rich Firato and these guys that have all come together and donated their time, their talent, and their energy to create something magical that when the community comes through a local fundraising charity event, people get so excited about something like this here in our backyard.
It's a way to meet people and to engage, and we started doing it, and it just started taking a life of its own.
It's a nice place to relax, a nice place to chill, and in the summertime.
I mean, this is amazing. The backyard, the way it was designed. Again, it's not designed as it is imagination creation.
You know, he's got a dream, and he's making it come true.
I think it's fantastic. Really fantastic.
Welcome to Morgans Cove, where for the past decade, they've taken a fantasy and made it a reality, in which thousands of people have come to enjoy. How does something like this get started? Well, let's find out. This is where our adventure begins.
And it's Timmy Barcy, after we bought the house, Timmy's Tile Works. Anyways, he was remodeling the kitchen, and he was the idea of coming out here and creating a captain's quarters. Is how it really got started.
So at break time, we came out here, brought out a couple 5-gallon buckets, sat down in here, break time, and we were looking around what we could do. Just decided, you know, why destroy something that's already here, and redo the pond, put a little ship, a little treasure, a little this, a little that, and go from there like a little pirate's oasis.
We used to go stock car racing on Friday nights after work, and as the property started to develop after the races, we'd come home and sit in our captain's quarters. We called it the captain's quarters, where the lights were set up. Oh wow, something would look nice over there, or we should do something over here. And then it would just automatically be, okay, let's do it.
Fisherman Doug came over here with the idea, and he made a pirate ship. And when he made this pirate ship, we put him in the water, it just, everything started around pirates, and it was kind of cool because it looked tropical, this thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until we started in the backyard. And it was before the Pirates of the Caribbean was thought of, you know. We were doing our own. And it was fun. I've never been to Disneyland, so I didn't copy anything, you know, from any other places. It was just all natural creations that we came up with along the way.
Sort of a legend in the area. I don't honestly remember the first person who told me about it, but Rich invited me over one time and said, "What is this thing you got going?" "Oh, you know, come on by, have a look." So many people, the first time they've been there is for one of his big events, which is amazing. But he just came by with my wife, and he said, "Let me show you around." It's like, wow, this is just tucked into a yard in Morgan Hill. It was pretty extraordinary.
Slowly it just became, oh, look at this cool pirate rope, or look what I got. And I kind of turned it into, "Dad, I think you're into pirates." And he's like, "Yeah, I think so too." And it just
he
went
wasn't
from
into
there.
pirates at all.
No. He doesn't even go in the water.
That Timmy Barcy started something.
In Morgan Hill, we have a treasure in our own backyard, something magical.
Morgan Hill was a rail stop that provided ranchers and farmers a way to transport their goods to San Jose and San Francisco. As the town grew, it became a getaway for the socialites to the cities of the north. And as the population grew, it was still able to retain its small town appeal. It then transformed from a leisure stop to a community in which one would want to raise a family. Rich Firato, being a proud third-generation Italian, was born and raised in the Bay Area. After he got married, and as his family grew, they began the search for a more idyllic community in which to settle down. At his wife's behest, they found what they were looking for here in the city of Morgan Hill. They first moved to a small house on the north edge of town. After living there for several years, they outgrew the home and began to search for a larger place in which to live. While Rich was looking at other houses, his wife Julie happened to run across a run-down, neglected piece of property. What in the world would possess somebody to buy a neglected piece of property and turn it into a tropical pirate paradise?
Question is, I didn't want this piece of property. My wife tricked me into signing some documents that were the deed to this property. So I was against buying this property in the first place. It was too big, overgrown. No way. I was scared.
Rich said that he was against it at
Yes.
first. Okay. What did you envision when you first, what did you see when you first bought this place?
I saw that it hit everything that he wanted: garage, acreage. The only problem was it was a major fixer-upper. The backyard was just needed to be bulldozed.
What was he thinking? Well, I mean, a lot of work here, you know, but, you know, he took it from this yard that had a few features like the pond and a few other things, and took it to what it is now, which is, you know, obviously quite amazing, you know.
So this is where the never-ending adventure began. Who built it and how did it get built? Couldn't have been done by one person. It had to have been done by a group of individuals that shared the same vision.
The crew really originated from Timmy's network of friends, and I just capitalized on their set skills on what we could do with Morgans Cove.
It's a collaboration of a lot of people. We all come up with ideas and we start working on things. And then myself, I've been doing it ever since he bought the property. I've been doing some form of work one way or another, either on a weekly basis or whether it takes 2-3 days to come out here and do things.
His brother James came over to help me work on the pond because the pond was broken. It was painted blue and it looked like an abandoned miniature golf course.
We put the sealant on the pond because it had a real bad leak. And one day we were sitting in here on lounge chairs and we thought to ourselves, you know, this would be a great captain's quarters. And as you
Place to hang out.
yeah, a great place to hang out and just look at the yard, and you know, it was a great view at the time, and as you can see, it's really matured.
And then Fisherman Doug came in with the idea of, hey, I could make this thing into this thing, and it's got started.
Many different decisions, you know, in the back of pizza boxes, napkins, we would draw it out. I'd talk him into this and that.
Working on lighting, and whenever there's whenever we do a charity party or whatnot, I'll set up lighting for that, or stages, or whatever needs to be done. I'm here to do that.
Actually, I was introduced to Rich from a guy named John Maccabee. The minute I met Rich, it was an automatic connection. I mean, it was like we were raised in the same neighborhood down there. He took an interest in my talent, and I took an interest in his vision, and it became a perfect marriage.
I met him previously at the racetrack.
All right.
In Watsonville. And I was surprised to see him at the house that I went to tile the floor at. And with the backyard, me and him just clicked and started non-stop for 6 years.
My brother and I think one of his friends were the first ones to work in the pond, redoing the pond.
Okay.
And then from the pond, I introduced Rich to Doug, which was Fisherman Doug, who I met years ago at the races, because we're all race fans. And one day I dropped Doug off from work, and he's all, come in, let's have a beer. And I go, shit, all right. So I went into his house and I looked, and he had this, like, trying to remember, who's that guy? Daniel Boone. He was like Daniel Boone. He had everything done in wood, and it was all hand carved, and he had little statues and stuff. So I introduced Rich to Doug, and it took off from there.
Fisherman Doug taught me how to do that trade. He showed me and taught me how to look at things, look at knickknacks, look at things, see them for what they are, and then think about where they go.
Rich would pull out his wallet at a yard sale with credit cards that would just fold out. And he's got the diamonds and the jewelry and the bling, and I'm like, Rich, untuck your shirt, mess up your hair. Ask not how much, but how little they'll take, you know?
So one day we were sitting in the captain's quarters, and I said, you know, Rich, what's the treasure for pirates? And he says, well, you know, it's gold, silver, jewels. I said, right, but what's the treasure of Morgan Hill? He said, I don't know. What do you think? It's easy. Poppy Jasper. What you need to do is build yourself a mine shaft.
I just went crazy. It was like, wow, that would be a real tie-in if I could have the rock as treasure of Morgan's Cove. So I went out looking for the rock in the creeks, and I found one little rock. I come to find out from the mayor, told me that you can't go find it, you can't go look for it because it's a protected mineral for Morgan Hill, and we don't want you on private property or, you know, looking at it. So I found a lady in Morgan Hill who was selling the rock, and I went to the lady and I asked her if I could purchase some Poppy Jasper. I'm a pirate. You're a pirate. I'm the pirate of Morgan Hill, and I need it as treasure. I can't pay $10. What pirate would pay $10? We're just going to take it. And she laughed at me, and she laughed. If you're a pirate, show me your island. So I invited her to come to Morgan's Cove. She did like everybody else, went crazy. And I told her that if you let me go on your property, I would build a mine shaft. And she came back and saw that, and she saw the mine shaft that I built. She says, you can go up to my property for $50 a garbage can and take as much as you want. I made 8 trips up that mountain, and I pulled out about I would say 2.5 tons of Poppy Jasper dirt that's in that mine shaft. That's how that happened.
This is where our crew mines their treasure, Poppy Jasper, a unique gemstone found only in Morgan Hill. So far, our adventure has taken us from simple beginnings to a fairly well-developed concept, but Captain Rich and his crew were yearning for more. The island wasn't complete. Something was obviously missing, and that was a pirate ship.
interesting story on that. There was a pirate. It was Halloween 2011. My mother wanted me to go see this pirate ship because when Halloween was over, they were going to take it down or throw it away. And she thought that I can go over there and get it, and it would be cool for Morgans Cove. I didn't make it. I decided not to go. I don't want to deal with that. The next day, I went onto the computer and I punched in on YouTube, pirate ship for sale.
Rich was just typing in pirate ship for sale. 2 pirate ships showed up. One was the Black Pearl from the movie, and the other was this pirate ship.
I was like, oh my God, look at that. And so as soon as I saw the pirate ship, I immediately emailed the guy in British Columbia and said, I'm the guy for your ship. When I did that, I called John Maccabee. Hey, look what I found. And I just started pursuing the deal on getting that boat here. And once the boat started getting closer and it was really going to happen, then John came to me and says, you need to get that boat here. And how can I help you?
And I got it. I got the vision. I know what this is about. It's about supporting our community with a fun venue, and that's really what, brought it down here, and the rest is history. And when the media was here, and it looked like as the crane was lifting the pirate ship over the tops of the trees, I swear you thought you were in Never Never Land, and Peter Pan was dropping in, and Hook was about to jump off the ship, and it was magical. And this whole place is magical. And when people tour this place, they say this is a magical experience. And I think everyone wants to be a part of that. My wife says she thinks the pirate ship is just an overglorified clubhouse for boys. But men our age are usually not that immature.
Yeah.
But we are. Yeah. And we still live in our childhood and get excited about these kinds of things. Our community came together, and pool contractors with tractors came in and dug out really a large pool, and then about 4 to 5 feet deep, and then we put the ship on cradles and filled it up with rock, and a lot of the ship is below ground. Well, Mike, when I first discovered Rich Firato was the pirate of Morgan Hill, I asked him to give me a tour. And when we finished the tour, I said, please tell me you have parties here. He said, no, this is just my hobby. I don't think people would be interested. And I said, you're wrong not to share your gift with the world. Your life is about to change. So our first party was 275 people, and we've had many more parties since then.
I think Leadership Morgan Hill was the first one that we did, and that's how I really met everybody that is here currently. Welcome to Morgans Cove. Right over here you'll find the hors d'oeuvres and all the treats. Further down you'll see the bar, and you can buy some tokens right over here. Around the corner is the tour to the island, something you must see, and visit the cave.
Now this sparked something with the crew. They realized that they can help charities by allowing them to use the island for fundraising events.
Once we started doing the charities, the people really liked coming here. And it was like, well, if we give back to the charity, give back to the community, it's a way to meet people and to engage. And we started doing it, and it just started taking a life of its own.
A place in Morgan Hill called Morgans Cove, pirate-themed yard where they do benefits for the community, for the Chamber of Commerce, and for Leadership of Morgan Hill. Some high school benefits for the basketball teams and that type of thing. How do you feel about pirates running amok in Morgan Hill?
I think it's fantastic. Really fantastic. Yeah, the Morgans Cove is renowned in Morgan Hill. It's a place that Rich put together because he was interested in that whole theme thing, but now he sees the use of the leverage to to do all the things you just talked about in terms of fundraisers for various organizations. And then everybody comes together and has fun doing it.
And we want Morgan Hill to be a city that leads the world in healthy, passionate families.
And you're helping the community while you're having a good time doing it, while you're following a theme. It's really fantastic. I just hats off to him, and I know John Maccabee helps him a lot and got the ship there, and they kind of make that thing work.
Morgans Cove is simply designed to do nonprofit fundraising events for charities of worthy cause. And the goal was to see how large of a organization will find Morgans Cove.
Why don't you ask Ted if he wants to eat?
Wait, can I just make him a plate and take it out?
He's just really stepped up to be it, and it was after him being part of the leadership Morgan Hill that he stepped up and got really involved in the community.
You go again? I saw the cave. Did you like that?
Rich has done a number of things for the Chamber of Commerce there. He just had the Western Night at the Cove. I'm also involved in Rotary, as is Rich, and Rich has been most generous. He has fundraisers for his kids' organizations, the Firato girls basketball.
And actually, for the basketball team.
Yeah, my whole basketball team would come and they'd all be dressed up in all kinds of costumes, and it was just fun.
It's just joy. They invite some friends over to do something nice that raises money for something important in our town. And I've been to events that raise money for basketball teams. I've been to, obviously, the leadership event, been to a chamber event. It's always something that's going to make some group better, stronger. We are just very lucky in Morgan Hill to have a place like this. Having a place that people can identify with, that's unique to our community, that benefits everything around our community. I think just having that is a benefit.
I remember always going and then Rich saying we could go in the treasure place and pick out like a bracelet or something, and like, because there's this room where you walk in and there's all these like bracelets and jewelry and stuff, and, like, charms, and it's always fun going in there and like finding something new. Walking around and like playing in like all the little places, it feels like you're like walking through like a pirate town or something. And that's probably my favorite part. Or playing on the ship, but I've only been on it like once.
We go out to garage sales, search things online. We have little adventures that we go on that we hook everything up to cameras and microphones in the truck, and we're hot all the way down and hot all the way back, and sometimes we get a little hot at each other, but you know, we all have a good fun time, camaraderie, and do stupid stuff, and it's fun, it's exciting, and a way of life for a unique group of people.
And one day, you know, the tractor hit something, and we pulled it up, and it looked like, wait a minute, kind of looked like an old anchor. So before we did anything else, I immediately called Rich and said, you got to get out here right away and see this. But that's typical. That's typical of what happens here at Morgans Cove. People find things, have things, discover things that would be a perfect fit after they've toured here. Well, reality shows are really popular right now on TV. I mean, you've got everything you can imagine. People are doing reality shows. And with the strange characters that Rich has for friends, it's a reality show in itself. You don't even need to have a TV. It's a perfect fit because these guys are so odd and funny and creative, and you just keep laughing the whole time. And it's a perfect idea for a reality show because all you can do is laugh.
I can't say whose idea it was because it was a collaboration of three of us. It just came out, and it first started with one guy, and then two guys came in, and then like, whoa, we need to add more pepper to this. It needs to be more, and we get a third guy in there. We're like, holy crap!
I've got a smiling. You know what I got on my? I'm bending over like this. I have a sunburn.
Now we've got this explosive combination. There's not one. There's not just one guy. It's three guys. Richard, myself, and Mike. that combination is exciting. It's a lot of fun. I mean, we're pulling at each other's hair, or we're just, I mean, I can't remember the last time I cried so hard laughing.
Hey, why don't you tell me how many times you cut the blue wire?
We don't cut the blue wire.
Don't cut the blue
Why?
wire.
What's with the blue wire?
In every movie that you watch,
Everything's
every
different.
movie you watch, they cut the blue wire. Happens. Don't cut the blue wire.
Who really runs the ship around here?
This one. She queen bee.
Who really runs the ship?
Crack that one.
She's the queen of the shit.
I just mellow everybody out.
Yeah, she's kind of
The
everyone's
mediator.
rock. We're all kind of crazy, and once Dad starts, we all start, and she's the only one who can actually, you know.
When he gets on my nerves, I just tell him go outside and play.
Go play.
Go outside and play.
Water something.
Yeah, go water something.
And I'm finding all these things on Craigslist with pirate related, and Trevor and I go out and start filming them, and we start buying things, and we start talking about this concept, this idea, and it starts to be fun, and it just evolved, just like everything else at Morgans Cove. It's just another progression of things that happen.
And Rich, I, and Trevor are the main people that go out and do this kind of thing, and we just like hanging out, and it's fun, and our friends and families are very cooperative in letting us go out and just kind of being ourselves and hanging out for a day or two or whatever, and then we come back and we will put whatever we got wherever we want to put it.
What's your next adventure?
So Mr. Campbell comes over here, and he starts talking to me about the Lady Morgan, and he starts telling me tales about the golden age of pirates, and I'm just fascinated, and I'm listening to him. He starts talking about first Sir Francis Drake. So Mr. Campbell, I gotta ask you a question. Can I interrupt you? I said, Sir Francis Drake, did he really make this plaque? And he started to tell me the story about that. Turns out it wasn't true. So I asked Mr. Campbell, where did Sir Francis Drake land? And he says, San Luis Obispo at the Pirates Cove. And I was intrigued. So then I asked Mr. Campbell, can I film you and you tell me the story, because I want to go out and do this adventure. And I'm going to take my crew and we're going to go out and relive the tales of how Sir Francis Drake found the island, hid his treasure. And that's something I want to go do.
I hope you've enjoyed this brief history and tour of Morgans Cove. If you ever find yourself in Morgan Hill, California, start your own adventure and search for Morgans Cove.